Hey, if you're a college grad, I've got some good news for you. Number one, you're going to step into the juiciest job market that we've seen in the last 10 years. Why? Because businesses have been holding off, and now they're going to make up for lost time brought on by the COVID. So your timing is really great. Something else, you should remember not to just stay with what you majored in. It very often, most often, has something to do with what you wind up doing and being happy with in a living. So forget what your major is when you go job hunting. Next, try on as many jobs as you possibly can in your first 4 or 5 years out of the lot. You know why? Because you get to know what fits you and what doesn't. You can't do that from afar judging while you're in college. You got to get in the jobs to see what you like. It's kind of the equivalent of walking into a store and knowing what kind of jacket or dress you look good in without having ever tried anything on. You got to try stuff on. Next, don't ever keep a job for the sake of a resume or take a particular job because it looks good on a resume. Those days are gone. Nobody's paying attention carefully to your resume. What they're paying attention to is the individual. So make sure you don't keep a job or hang on to it too long because it looks good on your resume. If it doesn't fit you, get the heck out of there. Next, always choose experience over money when given the choice. Let's say you get 2 job offers. What should you choose? More money or a better experience? Always a better experience. That's putting money in yourself for your future when you'll more than make up that income. So choose experience over the money. And last, make sure you choose a good boss. Working for a miserable boss is a miserable business. If you have a good boss and a bad boss and you're choosing between them, work for the person you like. If they've got your back, they're going to push you ahead and you're going to love your work. How happy you are in any job has more to do with your boss than what you do for a living. So that's it. That's my advice. Happy hunting. You're going to have a blast. All the shortages affecting our economy, I'm sad to report that I think the housing shortage is going to last the longest. I don't think you're going to have better luck shopping for your home next year. I just don't think so, unless we increase interest rates by 3-4% overnight. Boom, that would drop the market. But anything short of that isn't going to make a difference. Okay, here's the sheet I use with every pitch. It has the 8 questions I consider most important. And from these questions, I can think of 100 other related questions. But I'm sitting here assessing the deal based on these questions. And it's great. I grab any one. It makes sense whenever I ask. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better if you're a buyer, or better before it gets worse if you're the lucky home seller. But you know, homes in November always go down, the quantity of homes, but they went down 23%. I've never seen that happen before. I've noted that on those homes that sold in the month, they sold in a week or less. Think about that. That's bizarre. The housing market was bonkers. Now it's still nuts and it's getting worse. You know, if you're expecting rental prices to go down, you're mistaken, because what happens is when people are priced out of a purchase market, what do? They fall back on rentals, even if they really want to buy. Believe me, I'm a landlord. The landlords are making up for lost time. Whatever they shortchanged in those 6 months, like, oh, I'm going to take advantage that I have 3 people who want this apartment. I think it's half hype. And real estate is always half hype and half reality, but there are really big real estate deals being closed. I was very surprised to read about the deal by tokens.com. They bought, 100 and some odd acres of property in this metaverse. All right, crazy. When they paid $2.5 million, that's real money. What are they doing with this parcel? That's what I was curious about. Okay, how are they going to make this expenditure make any sense? They're developing into a luxury real estate hub for power brands. They're talking about having Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Burberry sell their products there. You need to try your best to buy the real estate you're doing business in as quick as you can, no matter how small the space is, whether it be a store, an office, a kitchen. You can control your business better if you're not giving the profits to the landlords. I opened 20 offices building my business, and out of those 20 offices, I bought 3 buildings. And when I sold my business for $66 million, those 3 buildings were worth more than $66 million, simply because I was smart enough to buy them. I think it's important that you invest your money only in the businesses that are run by really smart people. And I don't mean educated, book smart. I mean street smart, someone who's fast on their feet, someone who could size up a situation, run into an obstacle, and think of a quick way to get over it. If you could get smart people like that with the right attitude, you don't have to worry about the business you invest in. They always make money. They always get ahead because they're like self-propelled to push things ahead, and they know how to do it. Hey, if you want to get a raise, you've got to learn to ask. I'm a boss. Here's a surefire way to do it. Number one, make sure you deserve the raise. Your boss will want to know you've taken on new responsibilities, so go in with your list. Number two, search online so you know what your job is worth. Number three, make an appointment with your boss for 2 weeks out. I know it's scary, but don't procrastinate. And number four, think of the meeting as a sales pitch. Tell them how much you love working for them and how much money you want. You don't have to push for an answer on the spot, but give them a little time to think about it. And number five, if they say no, don't be discouraged. Ask how you can improve and what other responsibilities you could take on. And before you leave, make sure you schedule another appointment again for about 3 months' time. And of course, don't ask me for a raise. I'd have to say yes. Here's the one question you must ask in your next interview. Before you leave, ask, is there anything in the way of you hiring me? When you get the answer to that, you can overcome it and you'll probably get the job. If I had to name one place, I'd say Raleigh. Surprisingly, the average sale price, I might be off by a few dollars, is around $340-ish. You get great value there, and it's also one of the top 3 hottest cities to find real estate. So it's the most competitive, but the values are still undervalued. And so many young families are moving in. It's an educated population. Probably the best value right now in America, even though you're going to have to compete to find a house there. Number 4, focus on the short-term goal of every business, which is short-term, which is simply making enough profit to stay in business one more day. Don't get fancy about what I want to do in the next year. No, it's one more day. Make enough profit to stay in business one more day. And number 5 and last, believe in what you're doing. There's no replacement for unbridled optimism, like the kind you could taste and feel and love. That's what gets you through the rough part about building a business, which is day in and day out doing battle to keep your business alive. That's it. Those are my best tips. Good luck. Get it going. Very appealing and tempting at the time to know that you controlled the whole house hunting market and you had access to all these sellers the moment they wanted to sell. So who wouldn't be tempted to say, hey, let's cash in, guys, and let's buy these houses? The part that was overlooked was the market is volatile. He said, I think in some press release, he was surprised how surprised the market was volatile. Well, that's real estate. It's always up, down, in between. And what also happened is he never predicted how difficult it is to renovate a home, close it, and put it back for sale.